Hi there, this is Joanne from TrueAuthenticPower.com from Tapping.me, and I'm also the creator of the program Catapulting to Confidence. I wanted to talk today about living in black and white versus living in full color. And there are a number of things to consider when you're thinking, I feel like I'm living in black and white, which means part of your life is missing. It's not vibrant, it's not alive, it doesn't feel like you're living in color. And a lot of people will go to different practitioners or different healthcare facilitators and say, here, fix it. When you're not living in color, there are things that have clouded over those vibrancies, those colors, those vibrant feelings. And that's an internal job that you can be guided through, but it's an internal job. You're not going to be able to say, here, take this away, cover it up, give me something for it. What do you recommend I do? Because really it has to come from you. That's one of the things I consider myself as a guide, not necessarily someone that's going to tell you, a mentor to tell you, here, do this, do this, do this. I kind of do that in a guiding way to clear up your energy. So what am I talking about? The first thing I want to talk about is, what are you doing that is sucking you dry? And I mean that very seriously. What drains do you have in your life? What people are you interacting with that drain you? What situations are you in that drain you? Because there's either a way you're thinking about them, your perception is causing the energy to flow a certain way with them, or you're doing something that is totally against your grain. And I mean situations like, let's take a relationship, for instance, since those are high priorities for a lot of people. If you are viewing relationships as problematic, as difficult, as they're not fun, as something to suffer through, or they're hard, or work through them, energy works like a broadcast message of attraction. And what you're putting out unconsciously a lot of the time, that's why I talk about the subconscious mind. A lot of times what you're putting out subconsciously is what you learned, what you saw, what you heard. Specifically, we're talking right now about relationships. So if you heard arguing or fighting or difficulty, or people weren't on the same page, or it's them or me, they get to do what they want or I get to do what I want, we can't do it together. If you speak in terms of either or instead of I can have this and I can have this, if you're thinking that other people fulfill you, if you're thinking that relationships are the end all be all and why can't mine work, there's something there that's covering up your color towards relationships or towards money, or it doesn't matter what the topic is. My point is, you probably have a perception or a belief that is blocking your vibrancy, that is blocking your life force. So let's take another topic of, what are you doing that is draining you, that you absolutely could not necessarily avoid, but limit or do in a different way, or change your belief in a different way. The tool I use is EFT, and it's because it can change your perception. It can change the way you look at something. It can change the beliefs and patterns that have become ingrained with what you grew up with. Before the age of 7 is such a pivotal time for all of us, because we attract things, we take things in like a sponge without any discernment or choice or thinking about it. If you look at how little kids learn, they learn in a flash. They can pick up things like crazy because their brainwave state is in that receptive mode. If it's good reception, that's terrific. But if you're exposed to problem things, traumatic things, things that dull your vibrancy, scare you, cause an unsafe feeling in you, then some of those energies can be undone, and you're going to have to learn how to do that. EFT can do that. What I'd like you to just take a peek at is, look at your situations. Take relationships. I mean, it could be any topic, but I'm just need something for an example. So take relationships. What would you have to believe to have the outcome that you're getting? So if you've got kind of a cantankerous relationship with someone, or you've got some difficulty with someone, or there's not enough love, or they're not as considerate, how did you learn that? Who did you learn that from? What did you see? What did you hear? What did you feel? Were you the one that got ignored, and so now you expect to be ignored? Did you see fighting among family or close relationships that were supposed to be loving, and so now you've made an unconscious decision in your mind of that's how relationships work, that's how close relationships work, that's how family works? Do you believe it's difficult, it's uncomfortable, they're out to get me, they don't love me, I'm unlovable? What would you have to believe to be getting the outcome that you're getting? Your energy works like a magnet. It's like a broadcast. And what you broadcast, you're going to get more of. People don't understand that's how energy works. So they go to other people to say, here, fix this, fix this, fix this, or take this away, or cover it up. Covering it up is only going to make it scream louder in a different way, in a more abundant way that will grab your attention. So this is really internal stuff. And even if you get over something in the short term, it will probably pop back up if you don't change your perception, your belief, or your energy about it, and probably all three. That's what the beauty of EFT brings. You can change the beliefs, you can change the perceptions, and you can change how you react to them. But first, you've got to be aware. And so many people just want to look the other way, shut it down. You know people who serial date? Have you ever seen that? They just go from one to the other. And there's even a phrase, the best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody else. Well, yeah, that takes it away for the instant, but that doesn't take away the sting if you've had a traumatic breakup, if you've had a hurtful breakup. You're not going to get over it by serial dating. You may find somebody else. You may fall in love. You may get the relationship that you want, but it's going to be a matter of time before that trigger comes back up and you start getting, reactive. And it's totally unconscious because it's already in your subconscious to say, beware. This is painful. So I will ask you again, what kind of things are dimming your light? Look at your relationships, what your beliefs are about money, what your beliefs are about love, connection, engagement, other people. What are your beliefs about family? Because if they're detrimental, or they're fearful, or they're angry, or they're full of fear and uncertainty, just an unsafe feeling, you will block that out of protection. But there is a way to turn that around. I'm not going to be tapping today, but you've got to be aware. Awareness is the first key. And if you're not even looking, if you're not even recognizing that your energy is broadcasting, stay away. And a lot of times, fear, anger, worry, feeling unsafe will start to develop an energetic broadcast of stay away, you're not safe for me. And if you're unconsciously doing that, you can date till the cows come home. You can date forever. You can look for love in all the wrong places and you just won't get on track. And you'll think, what the heck is wrong with me? I'm unlovable. No, it's not that you're unlovable. It's something has covered it up. This can apply to anything. My point is, when you remove those things or change them energetically or in your subconscious mind, you start to live in color. If you're living in black and white, you've covered up some of that vibrancy, some of that aliveness, some of that allowing joy. Maybe in your family or maybe in relationships, you haven't been allowed to be happy in the way that fulfills you. Or maybe you have a belief of, I lose myself in relationships. Then that's your issue. It is not about them. Everybody wants to turn to them. If you would only do what I want, but to try to get the whole universe to jump through hoops, that's kind of a difficult thing. If you start to change your energy, though, you'll have a lot more vibrancy, full color, the spectrum of color. I'm using that as, something to describe the difference between black and white and color, but you get the idea. So maybe this week, take a look at what is draining you. Now, that doesn't mean you have to fix it immediately. It doesn't mean you're going to know how to fix it immediately. It doesn't mean that it can't be fixed even immediately. But first, you've got to be paying attention. And if you're just going through the motions of what you saw and learned growing up, if you're having the beliefs about how life works that don't suit you, well, you've got to do something differently. And generations before us didn't have this kind of knowledge. They didn't know about energy in this way, or there were limitations. The internet didn't exist years ago. So how were people going to find or learn or, know more about this if it wasn't in their face, in their family, in their growing up, around mentors that surrounded them. If they weren't going to learn from those people, they didn't learn. So this is an opportunity. Become aware. What's dimming your light? What's coloring your life in a way that's making it dim to black and white instead of the full spectrum of color? When you become aware, then you have your tapping targets. So that's all for today. I just wanted to share about how this works. Your broadcast is much more powerful. And just to end on this note, think about someone that you've immediately liked or immediately disliked. Why? You just met them. Why would you have a beef with them? It's because of their broadcast. And if you are repelling people or keeping people at bay, or finding the wrong person to date, or your family situations aren't working, or whatever, either there's a way to get comfortable with that being that way and you feel okay with it, or there's a way to change the perception if you want it to be different, if you want it to be more vibrant. There are ways, and EFT is a wonderful tool. If you like learning about energy in these kinds of ways and these tips and tools, subscribe to my channel. And until our paths cross again next time, bye-bye for now.